he moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, you know, one of the best fighters out there, which he was.
Because boxing is not all about knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen, but boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too.
Terence "Bud" Crawford is back in full training mode for his upcoming super middleweight showdown with Canelo Alvarez. On day one of camp, he looked laser-focused, throwing crisp combos, darting across the ring and pushing hard. His team is zeroing in on strength, stamina, and sparring partners who fight like Canelo. Even though he's stepping up to 168 pounds, Crawford isn't worried. He boldly said, "I'm going to shock the world." Their mega fight is locked in for September 12, 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Crawford's leg workouts show just how committed he is. He's grinding through squats, lunges, and resistance drills to boost his lower body power. These exercises fuel his footwork and balance tools he'll need against Canelo. His hard work on leg day proves he's serious about every little detail in training. It's not just about punches, it's about total preparation for battle.
Nice. All right, put him up.
Crawford's sparring rounds before the big fight highlight his smart use of the jab. Against fighters mimicking Canelo's style, he uses the jab to control space, throw off timing, and set up slick combos. He switches stances with ease, keeping sparring partners guessing. The sharp, thoughtful use of the jab is a major part of his game plan meant to take the edge off Canelo's power and set the pace of the fight.
Watch the right hand for the decoy.
Y'all know chess? Nice. That's how a star work. You know how to work. You know how to get the most out of everything. Good job, Shane.
Former champ Andre Ward believes Crawford has what it takes to handle the size gap against Canelo. Ward says Crawford's brain, willpower, and ability to adapt are what make him a serious threat. He thinks Bud's mental game is just as strong as his physical skills, maybe even stronger, and that could be the key to victory.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat.
Boxing legend Nonito Donaire also chimed in. He praised Crawford's footwork and movement, saying that being light on his feet will be a big weapon. Donaire believes Crawford can use his legs to avoid danger and stay one step ahead of Canelo. It's not just about trading punches, it's about smart movement and positioning.
You know, Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability, I think he can win. He can win the fight in decision, as long as he doesn't get hit with those big shots from Canelo.
Amir Khan, who has fought both Canelo and Crawford, has some interesting insight. He admitted that Canelo hits hard, but he's also there to be hit. Khan thinks Crawford's defense, reflexes, and quick reactions make him hard to land clean shots on that could tilt the fight in Crawford's favor, especially if he can avoid the big bombs.
You fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them?
Canelo's strong and is easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. They both hit hard because, and you could see the strength when I was fighting against Crawford. He is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go for fighting Canelo?
Shocker Stevenson praised Crawford for being one of the most flexible fighters out there. He said Bud can adjust to anything, no matter who he's up against. Stevenson pointed out that it's not just about size, it's about smarts, timing, and skill. He sees Crawford as a fighter who always finds a way to solve the puzzle in the ring.
Where do you think he could go?
Canelo
said he don't. He's like
Canelo, man. Canelo
like,
gotta get off that shit. I think the best versus the best.
You don't think the size difference is gonna play a factor again?
I mean, that's y'all opinion. Yeah. That's everybody else's opinion. But my opinion is different. I think that Bud could do anything that he want to do. I think that with Charlo, it was just a different story. I think Bud got the skills that could keep him at that high level with Canelo, where the size won't play a part. And I see, honestly, like, Canelo is a great fighter. I don't take nothing away from him. I see a lot of holes.
Canelo's last match against William Skull had fans and critics worried. The two threw only 445 punches in 12 rounds, a record low for that kind of fight. Canelo's usual aggression seemed to be missing. Some are now wondering if age and all. Those hard rounds are catching up to him. If he struggles to keep pace, he could be in trouble against someone as fast and sharp as Crawford.
And after really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday night show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. It generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs are sliding and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Caleb Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Alvarez, come July, be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but you know, he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes, but an opponent who Canelo Alvarez of 5 years ago would have handled.
In that same fight, Canelo only threw 150 to punches far below what we're used to from him. That raised red flags about whether he still has the sharpness and stamina needed to dominate. He's 30 for now, and the wear and tear might be showing. With Crawford coming in hungry and full of energy, some are starting to doubt whether Canelo can still hold his ground at the top.
And it left us with the question, how much does Canelo actually have left in his pro career? The fight was finished, and then they brought Terence Crawford in the ring to announce that mega fight in September, and that leaves me with even more questions, and thank God they did that, because actually it gives us a few interesting talking points from There's Enough Left. Well, you could argue Canelo got it tactically wrong tonight, because I just don't understand why he didn't use his jab more. I understand that he was conserving energy, he was patient, he was taking it slow. He doesn't lead off with the jab much anymore, Canelo. But really, the jab helps you bring your feet closer and bring them into range, so I don't understand why he wasn't jabbing more. It can't use that much extra energy for him to not be able to use his lead hand just a bit more in that fight. So that was a bit concerning, and you could maybe argue that he knows Crawford's ringside, he knows the fight is done for September. He maybe doesn't want to show him too much, or he wants to give him maybe false confidence or false hope. I don't think that's the case. I think you get rid of Skull if you can, and I'm just not sure Canelo is able to do it anymore at that level. Definitely good enough to beat a guy like Skull. Skull was clearly terrified of the power, but, you know, what does this mean for a fight like Crawford? Well, the first thing I noticed was, in the face-off, and I'm sure Crawford was wearing quite thick, solid trainers, as he quite often does, but the size difference didn't look that bad. It really didn't. Like, I thought there was way more of a size difference between them. But actually, Canelo, yes, will weigh more on the night, almost questionably, but Crawford's taking the whole year to work his way up to 168, having been at 154 in his last fight. That's like 14 pounds, which is 7 kilos difference of weighing on the night. Now, Canelo would probably be like 10, 15 pounds heavier than him, but at the end of the day, what Skull was able to do in there tonight.
Crawford has always said boxing isn't just about knockouts, it's about using brains, not just brawn. He studies each opponent and adjusts his plan to fit against someone like Canelo. That kind of ring IQ could make the difference. Instead of trying to overpower him, Crawford is focusing on timing, accuracy, and staying one step ahead.
Look up the definition of boxing. Please, please, look up the definition of boxing. The martial arts of boxing, and then come back with your opinion. Because boxing is not all about knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen, but boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too. That's why they go to the scorecard.
I appreciate that take, bro. That's real educated, man, real thoughtful. But you know, you ain't had a decision win in a long time, bro. You know, you known for like being a great finisher. So I appreciate that. But that ain't how you moving though.
Right.
When Crawford moved up to 154 pounds, he captured the WBO interim super welterweight belt. Though his punching power didn't look quite as fierce as it was at 147, his skills were still top tier. He stayed cool under pressure, adjusted on the fly, and showed he can thrive even at higher weights. That ability to think and react makes him dangerous in any division.
You understand me? You see what that say? Jermell Charlo what is the WBA junior middleweight champion in recess? Jermell Charlo is the WBC junior middleweight champion in recess. Nah, man. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is the WBC intern junior middleweight champion. Nah, man. So make it make sense. People gotta make it make sense. Charlo's still a big dog there. Yeah, that's my camera behind me. Charlo's still a big dog there. So a lot of people need to get their facts straight. Understand? Opinions don't matter. It's all facts. No opinions. Sport podcast. And I'm always gonna bring you the real, never the fake. And I'm never late on the news. You hear me? Get at me, man. Dollar.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo. 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Mitri Bivol, one of the few fighters to beat Canelo, believes Crawford has the right tools to challenge him. Bivol says Crawford's speed, movement, and instincts give him an edge. Moving up to full weight classes isn't easy, but Bivol sees Crawford as the type of fighter who can handle it because of how complete his skill set is.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think the fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, you know, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he wanna rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. He did just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know. We'll see.
Super middleweight contender David Benavidez also backed Crawford. He thinks Bud's sharp skills and tireless work ethic could pull off the upset. Even with the weight jump, Benavidez says Crawford's ring IQ and ability to adapt give him a real shot. If anyone can beat Canelo, it's Crawford, he said, summing up the growing belief that brains can beat brawn.
The Ring magazine, which is owned by Turkey, reported that Canelo and Crawford have agreed to the September date and that it's essentially on. What is your I know this has been rumored and talked about, but now it seems like a done deal. What's your reaction to this?
a good fight. You know, it's a good fight for both of them. Good fight for. I think it's more important for Crawford than anybody. You know, but I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Crawford could.
I know you said like he could be the guy. What kind of a chance do you ultimately give him?
I think you give him like a 7 out of a 10.
Oh, 5.
No, Crawford is good. Crawford is good, and I think he's been known that he's going to fight Canelo for a long time. And you know, Crawford he likes to pick up the weight, so I'm sure he's been working on the weights for a long time. So, you know, Crawford, when he has with a person that has a big IQ like that, if you do enough weights, you know, and you stay working for a long time, you know, you have a
Respected trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas didn't hold back. He's all in on Crawford. Despite the big weight difference, Atlas believes Bud's sharp mind, heart, and ability to adjust could bring him the win. He thinks Crawford is one of those rare fighters who can rise to the moment and shake up the sport.
Well, come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." You know, but who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, you know, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. Fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him, he dismantled him. He might have ruined him. We were talking about getting ruined in fights earlier. He might have ruined him. We don't know. He hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him, but he has done everything asked of him, and he's done it in a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. You know, how versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? You know, I look at all those things. What happens when they can't depend on power? What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense, all.
Atlas pointed to Crawford's slick footwork, quick stance switches, and high ring IQ. All these traits let him control the pace and spacing in the ring. Atlas believes Crawford's speed, defense, and brain power can take away Canelo's strengths, especially that powerful counterpunching game.
Guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher. You know, a unified champion that he's been. You know, all of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it. I ask this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, you know, who's going to be able, sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older.
Canelo wasn't impressed with Atlas's take. When asked, he brushed it off and said, he doesn't know boxing. That reaction shows how much tension is building before the fight. Both sides are confident and both believe they're being underestimated. It's clear this battle isn't just physical, it's mental too.
He went on the ring with Teddy Atlas.
What's that mean?
He said you're the most overrated Mexican champion in history. He said that Salvador Sanchez and
Más popular, pero sin causa.
The whole boxing world is buzzing for Crawford versus Canelo. With their different styles and deep experience, this could be a match for the ages. It's more than just a fight, it's a clash of eras, and a turning point for both men's careers. Whoever wins could change their legacy forever.